developed like a perianal abscess.
Okay.
And I had it like long before I said anything because like I didn't want to say anything because I was worried that it was gonna affect like literally like just everything I did.
Yeah.
So when we finally did like look at it, they like just poked it and like kind of drained it and thought it would just go away.
Yeah.
But it ended up coming back and it was like just getting really painful. So I was like my second surgery, and then we did a colonoscopy and they found an inflammation in my stomach. So like the inflammation, like plus the fistula, she has Crohn's disease, and then I was diagnosed in June of 2008. Like telling anybody, I probably had the abscess for like maybe like 9 months before I said anything because I was so worried about like
figuring it out.
Yeah, and so and it really didn't bother me as much like at first. Like like it looked bad, but it didn't really cause me pain.
Yeah. You are an athlete. What sports do you play? You got diagnosed with Crohn's. What were the steps after that?
Literally, like we just because I still had the Ceton in when I was diagnosed with Crohn's, and that was like the Ceton was put in my fistula to like constantly drain it.
Right.
And like, well, first I didn't like something like hanging out of like my area. I was like really working on like my self confidence because like it came down a lot. It was just they put me on like a whole bunch of pills and everything. They were like even
How'd that
talking.
make you feel?
I was like worried because they were talking about putting me on steroids and everything, and they're like you can't even take ibuprofen and everything. So like the only like really pain pill I can take is like Tylenol.
Right.
It was just, and they were talking about infusions, and they were like it's kind of like chemotherapy.
Changing your life.
Yeah, and I was like chemotherapy, that's cancer.
Yeah. Here's part 2 of this amazing and unique story that I have just shared with you in the last video. And if you have not seen the last video, go check that out in the description box down below. Or if you're on Facebook or on Instagram, anything else, just swipe up and we will be sharing that with you. But who I have here is none other than Cece's mom, Courtney, who is amazing and you will fall in love with too. So thank you for coming to do this. I'm so happy to have you here. So the first question is, what was it like getting into the process of knowing something's wrong with Cece? And we've got to figure this out because I already know kind of how you are, but we'll keep it PG because I know how that gets. So
I think that Cece did a good job of explaining that she had, because we honestly really didn't know something was wrong. We knew that they have a boil, and the doctors explained this is an abscess and we need to operate, and like most people do, when you do what the doctor says. So we operated, but I can even remember making a Facebook post of her in the room after the operation. I was like, a quick surgery to correct a minor pesky issue, but obviously it wasn't. And so even when she came back with after she had the abscess drained and she came back with feeling the fistula, I was never scared. Like I don't know, you just don't think that things are going to happen to you. And she was still running around and jumping and playing basketball, so even
didn't really hit you.
No, even
just
after
like,
the
this just is what it is. Or,
I really like didn't know, and even after the colonoscopy, when they said she has Crohn's, I like had no idea what it was or what we were in for.
Yeah. So what were those steps of now you get this diagnosis, and then what did you do? Because some people don't know how to ask the right questions or where to go to.
Well, I didn't. I don't think that we didn't know how to ask the right questions, and so we just did what the doctor said. They said, we're going to put you on this treatment. This is the standard. And I think between our shell shock, we asked a few questions, but we just did what the doctor said. And now I'm on the Parents and Families Advisory Board at Children's Mercy for
amazing.
Thank you for the IBD clinic. And at Children's Mercy, I think they give you more direction because there's a pamphlet that they give you, and it talks just about lifestyle changes and food and medication and what things are. We didn't happen to have that at the hospital we were at when we got diagnosed, so it was a lot of internet research.
And what was that? Going down a rabbit hole, and just did you find things that were more death-defying and scary, or did you just be like, that might not be true, I'm not sure?
Oh, it was absolutely scary. So I tell people that for the first probably 6 weeks after she was diagnosed, I would wake up and be reading comments and stories on Facebook groups. And people come to support groups when they need support. So they're not doing well. And I was reading the stories, and literally I would wake my husband up crying, like doing the ugly cry every single day. So that was my rabbit hole.
But that's also, I think, shows your strength of, that's my kid. I love her to death, but I don't want her to have to deal with whatever might be worse on the other end of that.
Oh, yeah.
But also at the same time, you know that I've got to get my game face on and we've got to go and figure this out. Because, like Cece said in the last video, there's different levels to this, and we've got to figure out what is right for anyone, because you can get diagnosed any age.
Yes.
And so she's 16, it was 14, 15 when this started happening, so she's young, and she still got beautiful life ahead of her. So has that transitioned into, okay, she's getting ready to become an adult soon, and just figuring out everything in the process, because now she's in the hospital, 2-ish times a week doing that?
Just between all
IVs and
appointments.
things, yeah.
Her infusions are every 6 weeks, and then we have mental health appointments every other week. We have blood monitoring and GI appointments, and we see hematology.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, and there's just a lot. It depends on how well she's doing,
right,
how much we're in the hospital.
And then when it comes into now her health, of not only mental health but physical health in terms of eating, she mentioned the paleo. What inspired you to get on that and figuring that out?
I think that we all know that a lot of food is poison, and I know your mom knows that.
Yeah.
She talks to you about that.
So
So it's easy to not worry about it when you don't have to. But she was having a lot of pain, and we ended up trying to avoid an additional medication, going on a liquid diet.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we did avoid the medication with the liquid diet. She was still having a lot of pain. But when we transitioned back into food, we just made choices to get rid of the main allergens. So paleo was a good way, and then being dairy free on top of that to just ease back into things. Really, we were just grasping at straws, trying to get some pain relief.
That's amazing too, because I'm sure that you obviously have a great relationship with Cece, and figuring out, hey, well, kind of, and also during that stubborn teenager age. When it comes to the, hey, I'm at this pain level, how did you come to that? Be honest with me. Don't lie to me. Tell me really what's going on, because it's hard when you to tell your parents or to tell your family, I'm not feeling good today, but I've got a game or whatever planned that day. Because I know that emotionally can affect everybody involved.
Yeah, you because of your struggles and Cece because of hers, you guys are probably better equipped to answer that. Like for me, I did take the diagnosis and everything pretty hard, and Cece was really she would just be honest, because I think that we have that open relationship.
Yeah.
But
which is important.
Yes, but I think that she recognized it has been hard on me. I feel like I don't have Crohn's, but I do.
Because it's your daughter.
Yes. Yeah. And so sometimes I think she would probably struggle even to be open, because she would sometimes handle her pain better than me, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, because, many people don't understand this yet if you're not a parent yet, or even just young adult, of whatever your family goes through, you feel it too. That Cece goes and does the speaking engagement, which, like I said, we'll throw up pictures and all of that from you, through the foundation. So can you tell me a little bit more of how you got into that, how you found out about that? I didn't even know about that, and let us know how that all happened.
So the Dream Factory is a nationwide organization. They do have a chapter here in Kansas City. Okay. They grant wishes for children under 18, and you can be terminally ill or chronically ill. Wow. And so Cece qualified under the chronically ill side of things. I happen to know about them because a friend volunteers and grants dreams there, and I have been with her when she was granting a dream.
Awesome.
Yeah, and she kept encouraging me to apply, and finally I did.
Yep.
And got Cece's sweet 16th birthday party.
Stunningly amazing.
Yeah, it was a great
party. Over the top, loved it.
Yes. And so since then we've had the opportunity to just we've been more involved with the Dream Factory. We hope that Cece will go back and be able to grant someone else's dream.
That would be incredible.
But just learned a lot more about them, and they are an amazing organization, the Dream Factory of Kansas City, and they are open. They always need volunteers and funding and kids with wishes to grant. So if you know anyone, please send them there.
And definitely we'll put that information in the description down below on all social media for you guys to find that, for even all states, for all U.S., because it's nationwide, correct?
Yes.
Then the foundation, so is that, she spoke on behalf of the Dream Factory, correct?
She did.
How did that come about?
They have so after her dream was granted, you know how much time and effort people put into things, and we really didn't have a way to adequately express our thanks. So because also my grandmother passed away when and the funeral was the day of her party. So I was supposed, thank you, I was supposed to be bringing the manpower to decorate for her party.
Right.
And obviously now people would be not available, like my mom and aunts and
now
things.
it's family.
Yeah,
Yep.
because the funeral was out of town. So when I got to her party, there were literally people who hadn't planned on being there, like people who, you know, didn't come out in the cold and the dark, but came there to decorate for her party.
January, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And so we really just wanted to be able to
amazing.
thank them, and so we
Yeah.
went to one of their meetings,
Okay.
and they just fell in love with Cece. And when their annual dinner came up, the president contacted us to see if she would speak just about her dream and what it means, because this is a fundraising dinner, so it helps people know how much the money they donate means to the kids.
Yes, but when it comes to her being able to do that, what was that moment like watching her?
I had to disconnect a little bit just to be able to take it all in and stay like regulated and not just be a bawling mess on the floor, because some things it took me back to going through just the entire experience.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it was just a little bit traumatic, and then she said some things that maybe I didn't quite know about, like about her pain and how she was being impacted. So I did have to like disassociate a little bit, but I was proud, obviously, as I always am, to see her stand up and just I can't even describe the feeling to see her like living in her truth in front of all those people and putting it out there, and then getting support.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing night. It was a great night.
That's so awesome, because, and also when she goes into sports and plays basketball, and even, you know, goes in for band practice, everything else, I mean, having to have those conversations with the teachers, the coaches, and all of that, is that something that was obviously mandatory, but was it something that was hard for you to say, hey, my child is this, she's not only just an amazing child in athletics itself, was that something that you were fearful of when you had this conversation?
You know, the thing is that because Crohn's is like, it's an invisible disease, and they don't see what you're going through, and she looks healthy, and even when she loses weight, people, unfortunately, we think that skinny is great, and so she would be skinny from being on formula, but really she's not at a healthy weight. It was public knowledge that we knew this, and due to the number of absences she has for appointments and just pains, we got a 504 plan, so she you know, so she's protected.
That's amazing.
Honestly, sometimes it does feel like the school's been great about just allowing the absences, but you know, people don't understand, and people think, so if you're sick in the morning, you're not necessarily sick
the rest of the day.
Yeah, or at night.
That's not even a conversation in this world today too, of like, you can miss so many days, but there's a reason, obviously, but also you're gone for half the day for an appointment, you should be. Alright, so with the moments of, okay, we have the 504 in plan, we have her having appointments and all of those things, and keeping that on track and on schedule. Right. So how does that go about if there is an issue with school because of that? It's unseen. They don't really understand the depths of that.
Yeah, I think that that's something that schools actually still will have to address, because the problem that is ongoing is that, so yeah, we get the 504, we excuse absences, but if an absence is from a chem lab, how do you make that up?
Exactly.
You know, and then they'll say, oh, come early. Well, my fatigue is at a halt. My iron is, you know, in the negatives.
Right.
How can I come early? I can barely get up to come to school, and then, you know, come after school. We're trying to maintain normalcy, so track practice is after school, so we want to go to track, and it's just
finding
a lot.
that balance.
Yeah.
And figuring out, too, with the school and with the teachers who may not even care, and I'm being honest when I say this, to care to read into that. I remember going to school many times having teachers basically look at me and be like, no, I don't care about your accommodations, I don't care what you have in place, you're still doing this, and even if you fail, I'm sorry, I'm not going to help you. What is that like for you moving forward? When she was into college, are you looking into helping her start that process too? Because colleges do have the 504 and different plans, they just don't talk about it often.
Well, I'm trying to be prepared on my own because I have the high school experience.
Right.
Having her advocate for herself and me advocate as well as needed. But I will go to the end of this world to hold the institutions accountable.
Absolutely.
Because this is, you know, a disability.
And it's also by law, by Disability
Yes.
Act. Yeah.
So she will be accommodated, or I will spend my life making everyone pay.
So I love that. No, that's
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 just the
real.
truth.
I'm sure as you're watching this and we're filming it, this is something so new, but also to raise awareness on top of the experiences we've had and the fails we've had to help other people get away from those fails, because it's not only that you're failing in a bad way, but it could be a failing forward in learning. You hope to, in terms of when she's 18 and when she leaves, you hope that you will see a change in how she handles and the responsibilities, because she did talk about, you know, I need to be make this a priority, because she's still a kid. She wants to have fun and live her life and be like everybody else. I dealt with that. I still do with that as a 25-year-old. Like, I still want to be like everybody else, but I'm not.
Yes.
And so where is that going to lead to for her, and transitioning that of I can be me, but finding that balance.
I hope that we're doing enough to help with the balance now. Like with you, like, I mean, I know you want to go to the party, but what did you really miss if you were out all day? I kind of watch and let her do her own thing now, because it is time for her to make the decisions herself.
Which I'm sure is hard for you.
Oh yeah, because I'm like, just go to bed, you know. But I know, I feel like I understand what she's saying, and like you're saying, I just want to be normal. And everybody else stays up till 2 in the morning, and they get up at 7, and they're fine. So I hope that she just keeps a firm grasp on it and stays controlled in her disease, like with no inflammation, and is able to participate more fully in everything. But I also encourage her to prioritize what's the most important.
So with that, the last couple of questions I have for you are, within, you know, CC going to school and doing all of those things, how have you now, because you've accepted what's happening, do you feel like, or have any fears of things getting worse than now what they are, because now you have a regimen set?
I absolutely fear them getting worse. And I mean, you go through, I'm sure anyone does it, like I went through a period where like every stomach ache, oh my god, you have a stomach ache, oh my god, the world is ending, and I'm like in tears, and she would tell me she had a stomach ache, and I go upstairs and cry, and it's just,
you can't fix it.
You can't, and you don't know what's happening. And I mean, it could have been she ate too much, just so many other things. So I heard her say that she just tries to live in the now, and I do. I try to be with her in that, preparing for the future, but enjoying today. And I mean, we'll just be ready to,
when it happens.
Whatever battle's there, we'll be ready.
Right. And I know that obviously her dad is not here, but he's very involved, and he very much is there for her night and day. Even at the hospitals and things like that. So the family aspect is important too. That even if it's just the mom, or just because there's somebody there, that makes it okay. Is it better to have that family there?
Absolutely. We have, besides the 3 of us, I mean, we have so much family and friend support. Her very first infusion, I just sent out a group text and was like, hey, can you guys tell CC hey, and like coaches and my brothers and nieces and nephews and everyone, you know. Her grandfather met us at the hospital for her first infusion. We've had friends come to infusions and come after surgery.
Asking isn't a bad thing. It's just being there.
Yes.
And you know that they love her enough that they would show up.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why too, many people don't realize sometimes, and families do work and they're busy too, but also it's just even that little
just a check-in.
It means so much. Well, I'm really proud of you for not only sharing your side of things, because it's not, you know, not many families get that chance to share it because it's them who's going through it. So thank you for sharing your side of things. And thank you for letting me take over your daughter for a couple minutes. So
you can have her for longer.
Hey, I love her so much. And you know what, you guys, thank you for checking this video out and pressing play. And if you want to go check out CC's story a little bit more and see all the highlights of Instagram and amazing little dance videos that they do at the doctor's office, go hit that the Instagram link down below and any other social media that they have. And we will see you on the next episode of A Unique World. Bye.